Good morning, everyone. J7409 Sky News with the hurricane update on Irma and all the other systems for today. Of course, Thursday, the 7th of September, 2017. Good morning, everyone. I will not put quite as much detail in everything, but I will try to make a video coming up just a little later on, specifically for Florida area. But this morning, it looks like maybe what we're doing here might be right, so far as where Irma may go. Still, anything can change. Remember that. Next time I say something that might be totally different. But we're going to put together this morning, in general, what's going on. First of all, before I start anything, I'd like to tell everyone, for all of us here on the east coast of my state, North Carolina, right now this morning, Irma is about 1,461 miles from the Crystal Coast. Okay? That's about how far it is. But remember me telling you, Irma is going to disintegrate. Once she hits land, she's going to disintegrate fairly fast. So with that in mind, if there can be anything good to Irma, that's the good point. Here we go, checking them all out. Katia, Category 1 hurricane, 80-mile-per-hour winds this morning. The pressure is 989 millibars. It's 21.5 north, 94.5 west. This is another slow system. The way this is moving, something about those Gulf waters this year are making everything that gets over there very slow. Reminds me a lot of the way Harvey just kind of stalled out. Yesterday it got up to 3 miles per hour. Before that it had been moving at 2. This morning, well, it's stationary. There it is right there. Now Jose, we got to keep our eyes on Jose. Jose is gaining strength, 90-mile-per-hour winds. The barometric pressure is 986, located 14.8 north, 49.1 west. Now Jose is moving fairly fast, west-northwest at 18 miles per hour. Another good thing that's happened to Irma, well, she's lost 5 miles per hour of winds this morning. Still a Category 5, very dangerous storm, but the winds are 180 miles per hour. The minimum central pressure, 921 millibars, located at 19.7 north, 67.7 west, and Irma is moving fairly fast this morning. That's another sign, okay? That's most of the time a good sign that after a while it's going to really start cracking down and breaking up. She's moving west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. Well, what do you know, people? Look at this. It looks like we're doing stuff right, working together like we are, hanging tight, doing everything we do together, being kind to each other. We're getting some real information, it seems like, because if you recall in my last night update, I said somewhere in between South Carolina and Georgia, remember? Well, we have to remember this cone of uncertainty. Okay? That's very important. This storm still can go anywhere inside this cone to make landfall. We all know that. What's so important to everyone on eastern North Carolina? I know I harp on that, but it's my state, and yesterday our governor said state of emergency today is put in place. We're not taking any chances because even if we don't get a direct hit, we'll have another Matthew situation. That's all I got to say. Everybody knows what happened. When Matthew did not hit us, and it was a Category 4, when it did not hit us, but it went by us way out in the ocean, we had an awful time, people. An awful time for weeks and weeks with the flooding. So, we got to remember the very important, crucial thing for eastern North Carolina is going to be this turn. When it starts to make this turn, it looks like now it's probably not going to really make it till Saturday sometime. So Saturday, if it keeps like it should be going to make the turn, this is what it should probably look like. But still, anywhere, it don't mean this is wrote in stone. Nothing's wrote in stone. Remember that. It can all change. If it takes a turn a little sooner, sometime Saturday, if it comes up over in this area, it's going to be a whole different ball game for eastern North Carolina and also South Carolina. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I thought we did very well. If it stays like it is now for eastern North Carolina, we should have, now this is what I'm estimating, probably winds of 30 to 60 miles per hour, okay? The possibility of a isolated tornado here or there. Of course, we'll get some rain, heavy downpours, but nothing that we cannot handle. And it should start probably sometime late Monday into Tuesday. That's for us the way it's looking now in eastern North Carolina. That doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. But I just am so happy. It's looking like we forecasted it to be. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. Good news, when it hits here, it will probably be a category 1, where right now it's a 5. Let's check out and see exactly what the National Hurricane Center is telling us. Okay, we all know now, I've just showed you Irma has come down 5 miles per hour from 185 to 180. Irma has become a little less organized during the past few hours. We're not going to get into all of that. Here's something, one of the most important things. Now, the initial motion is 290/15. Now, the hurricane is currently being steered by the subtropical ridge to the north. And for the next 48 hours or so, this motion is expected to continue with a decrease in the forward speed. That's not good. Right now, remember I said Irma was clipping along pretty good around 16 miles per hour. Well, she's going to slow up. Then after 48 hours, a mid to upper level trough digging into the eastern United States is expected to create a break in the ridge and allow Irma to turn northward. That's after 48 hours. Remember, we were talking Saturday. Today's Thursday, Friday. After that, we have to watch it like a hawk to see what might happen as to where it will turn. Now, the timing of the turn is the most important question, and one still filled with uncertainty. See, they still don't know. People, it doesn't mean nothing might not happen, or it's going to happen the way it is now. We have to wait on that all-important turn Saturday. I can't stress that enough. Now, the UKMET, UK Ensemble mean, and the NAVGEM are models showing the latest turn. And they forecast Irma to move into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico and near the west coast of the Florida Peninsula. Now, the European models, they're in the portion of the middle of the pack, okay? They show Irma moving over the southeastern portion of Florida Peninsula. The GFS, Canadian and GFS Ensemble means show the earliest turn and show Irma moving east of the coast of Florida toward the southeastern United States. The new forecast track will best follow. This is so important. After all of these models, like the one said it might go into Gulf, I just read about here for you and told you about all of these models. This is what you need to understand, okay? The GFS Canadian, the GFS Ensemble, the earliest turn, show Irma moving up the east coast of Florida and southeastern United States. The best out of all of these are following the European model. the European model, as well as the Florida State Superensemble, okay, and the HFIP corrected consensus. It all calls for the center to move over portions of the southeastern part of the Florida Peninsula between the next 72 and 96 hours, and then across the Atlantic into southern South Carolina by 120 hours. Now, users are again reminded not to focus on the exact track, since the average National Hurricane Track errors at days 3, 4, and 5 are about 120, 175, and 225 miles, respectively. Now, Irma should remain in warmer water in the low shear environment for about the next 3 days, and thus is expected to remain a strong hurricane, most likely a Category 5 or 4. Now, it's going to fluctuate in intensity, that's likely during this time, due to the internal eyewall replacement cycles, okay? All of this stuff is going to happen. You're going to see it go up and down in strength. But here is one thing I want to point out before we go on to something else right quick. The key messages are, we all know Irma's catastrophic Cat 5, okay? And it's still bringing life-threatening wind, storm surge, rainfall hazards to the northern coast of Hispaniola and the Turks and the Calicos and southeastern central Bahamas tonight and tomorrow. Now, hurricane watches are in effect for the northwestern Bahamas and much of Cuba, and Irma is likely to bring dangerous wind, storm, floods, and rainfall to portions of these areas tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. The threat of direct hurricane impacts in Florida over the weekend and early next week continues to increase, and we know that. They just have to say that. Hurricane watches will likely be issued for portions of the Florida Keys and the Florida Peninsula later this morning today. Here is a good point. If you can say it's good, I think it's wonderful. Right now the winds are 180, but in 120 hours, boom, 85. Got a Category 1 hurricane. We go from 5 to 1. I'll take it. How about you? Okay, we're on the European model now, and this is how I kind of nailed it down with all the other models working with them yesterday. And as it's looking right now, looks like we're pretty correct. Still, we don't know exactly. I mean, you don't know, people. Don't count on anything. I always say, prepare for the worst, pray for the best. If you got your stuff together, that's great. By all means, keep it together. Hurricane season's not over. As you can tell, we got 3 out there popping around right now, okay? And once again, before I go any further, I'll try to do some more in-depth work just for the state of Florida and make a video a little bit later this morning. But I wanted to get the general information out now. This is what it's looking like at this time right now, 5:39 a.m. On Thursday, we're going to hop over to Friday at 2 a.m. in the morning. We'll hop over to 8 p.m. Friday night. Well, 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. You can see this has made landfall in Mexico now. This one looks a little better organized. Jose. 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Hasn't made that turn yet. We have to watch. We have to watch. This is 9 o'clock coming up Saturday night. The rain bands have already starting. Very, very, very tip. The Keys are covered up, but just a small portion of the very tip of Florida is starting to get rain. 4 a.m. Saturday morning. Where will it go? Let's see, where will it go? Not far, just a little ways, and the rain bands. That's Lake Okeechobee there, so, you got a general idea of where it's at, what's going on in Florida, Miami, and all of that. And we'll move on up. That's at 5 a.m. Sunday morning. We go to 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Still hanging around. Remember how I told you, this is a factor here. Remember how I talked about yesterday? The eye is here. Only a very small portion. It's like the eye is right at the coastline, but it's hanging in the ocean. Let's put on the barometric pressure right quick. See what that's looking like. You can see it's hitting just a very minimal part of land. The majority of it is out in the ocean, but that little bit that it is hitting, we'll turn the wind on, is enough to help make it start to decrease. There's your wind bands. Very, very high winds. We'll go back to what the rain will look like and carry on. Now remember, this is Sunday at 10 a.m. It doesn't mean it's going to happen right at this moment. I hope everybody knows this. This is just something that we have to give us an idea to go by as we prepare. 6 p.m. Sunday. Now it looks like a little bit more of the eye is over Florida. Florida is going to take a beating with Irma. A pure T beating with Irma, okay? So I hope you guys are ready or almost ready. We're up to midnight Sunday. See what I'm saying? Florida. It's moved a little bit off now. The eyes just a little bit further out in the ocean it was. It went in a little further. It's just jogging around Florida. Everybody in Florida, except maybe this little piece, and it's going to get some rain, or the panhandle. Florida is going to take a beating. At this time, midnight Sunday, the rain bands are going to be moving up into Georgia and South Carolina. Monday at m. It's out in the ocean, and it's still making this more or less northerly movement, okay? North Carolina is beginning to feel down around Wilmington. The very lower portions of North Carolina is getting some rain bands now. And there you have it. We're going to move it on up a little further. This is a little slower than what the other one was forecasting. They were forecasting we should get everything blah, blah, blah. But this is the one we should go by. Looking like now, the eye's somewhere on the border of Georgia and South Carolina. But I'll nail this down like I did last night and peg it a little better. But right in this area, we'll go back just a second here. Let's go back to 4 p.m. Maybe that'll show us. Yes, right in here. It's really right on the coastline. And where you see that white, folks, please be prepared. You're going to get buckets and buckets and buckets of rain. We'll check the wind out. Should only be around 85. Now, your gust may be a little higher. You might have a 90, maybe even a 100 gust mile per hour of wind. But the sustained wind should be no more than 85 if it goes over all this land in Florida like it's looking like, okay? But that's still a hurricane. No fun. Nobody. It's no fun. No fun. So other than that, we'll come over to Tuesday at 6 o'clock in the morning. We can see what's going on. This is with the way it's looking like it will turn now. If it turns a little bit further where the eye is, like maybe here, when it comes up, that's when eastern North Carolina will take a whipping. But it's not looking like that now. We're going to get enough. We don't want anything like we had with Matthew, but we still could have a lot of stuff. When we can nail it down after Saturday, I'll be sure and put up exactly what's going on for everybody. But the rest of the day, as of now, you know, you guys, it looks like it's coming in here. Please prepare. I want to concentrate on Florida and see what I can find out about that area. And I will try to do more updates during the day when I see something that is feasible and worthy of putting up to help you with information. With that said, have a good morning. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, folks. I appreciate everything you do for me and subbing, upvoting, sharing this important information that everyone needs to know. Because remember, all of this can still change. This is just to give you a good idea of what might happen. So please have your kits ready, please have your plan ready, and please keep it together throughout hurricane season. That's all I ask. I've lived through these things. They're no fun. They're no fun at all. So please, please keep everything you got. Please prepare. In Florida, if you haven't done anything yet, you need to get it done today by lunch. I'm telling you. You don't need to keep putting it off. Well, I really shouldn't stress it that much. I stress it that much to get people to do it. But really, by lunchtime tomorrow, if you don't have it done, you won't get it done. Especially if you're in, well, you're lunchtime today's too late. It's like, you know, this very tip of Florida, you guys already need your stuff done. Big time, like yesterday. But up in this area, you can do it today or by lunch Friday. Won't be smart, but everything's gone, I'm sure. So anyway, with all this said, you know what's going on. I love you. Have yourself a good day. Thank you for everything you do. And everyone, please keep safe. Keep your eyes on the sky and everything around you. Thanks for watching.